Hi, guys. It's a fantastic day to be talking about businesses and some of the challenges that business leaders or business owners face. And as a business person, every day I grapple with the realities of my business. How do you manage cash flows, for example? Imagine if you have to pay employees from the 20th of every month. You have palpitations of the heart. Where am I going to get salaries from? Imagine if you have to keep the lights up. How do you piece together the funds required? Okay, imagine if you have to pay some ongoing concerns. Imagine if you have to pay for power. Imagine if you have to pay for water. Imagine if you have to pay utilities. A lot of businesses are struggling, particularly in our country where the macro and the microeconomic indices are not very friendly. Getting or sourcing for capital or funding or loan from the banks is very difficult. Finding cash, finding talent. There's a lot of challenges everywhere, and so it's really, the business environment is tough. And maybe today is the best day to talk about this. But I felt it would be nice to have this conversation with young business owners. Maybe we can empathize with ourselves, have a conversation, and just rack it through. All right. So what I'm talking about is business challenges or challenges businesses face, and how exactly we should all deal with it. One of the ways I am dealing with mine is to tell myself that business challenges are a reality you can run from. While I was growing up, one of the most poignant stories in my head was that, I read a lot of books about successful business leaders, and one of the repeated mantra in the book is that most of them were broke when they were small. They were really poor. They came from very humble beginnings. So while I was young, and this is an aside, I felt, I didn't really grow up poor. Was I going to be able to put together a successful business? But growing up, learning about business management, what I realized was that there's always a story behind every successful business. And I tell you, that story is more often than not the story of failure. For some people, they're actually so privileged. They sometimes start with some of the biggest capital possible. Guys like Donald Trump, for example, he calls himself a billionaire today. And there's a lot of talk about him inheriting almost $500 million just to start his business. The truth is, even though he started the business with a lot of money, at some point in time, even the business went bankrupt and he had to start again. And so, one of the fundamentals that every business owner or business leader has to grapple with is that there's almost always that humble beginning. Accept it as a reality. Whatever it is that you're going through right now as a business owner, maybe you're looking for funding, maybe you need a place to start, maybe you're not able to pay your employees, maybe you're not able to pay yourself. I recall when I was starting my business, and for maybe 8 months, I didn't have enough money to pay myself a salary. Hey guys, welcome to my world. It's always difficult at the beginning. If it's not difficult at the beginning, then what's the point? So accept the fact that starting small and starting difficult is actually a reality. That is one. 2 is that you have to understand that for businesses that have thrived, they almost always put together trusted processes that can support the business. What does this mean? It means that when you're starting a business, or when your business has started making money, you have to trust that you need a process that puts even you yourself in check. What am I saying? For very many business owners, entrepreneurs, sole proprietors in Nigeria, you see them run their business without any professionalism. For example, for some of them who start businesses from their house, they imagine that, hey, I'm the business. Who says that I have to have a shower and resume the business? Is the business not in my house? Why do I have to resume? You see some guys who run the business, they tell themselves, why do I have to pay myself the salary? Am I not the sole proprietor? Doesn't all the money belong to me? Hey, for some of that guy, they ask themselves, why do I have to do bookkeeping? Nobody's investing in the business. All of the money is mine. Who cares? The truth is, they forget that at some point, the business has to scale. There's no business that can scale without process. What do I mean? It's like a child without limbs that wants to run. The truth is, however hard it tries, without limbs, it really will not be able to run fast. I'm sorry if you think that is actually an indictment on persons of special ability or disability, but not at all. I'm just talking to the fundamentals. The truth here is that if you want your business to survive the storms, you have to put in trusted processes that puts even you as the visionary in check. The third one is that you almost always have to take a learning. Because I'm an African and we talk a lot in proverbs, I like these proverbs from the Yoruba, southwestern Nigeria. They say, you know what? If a child runs and stumbles, he only looks ahead. But if an elderly person runs and stumbles, he looks behind. You know what that means? It's that when an elderly person runs and stumbles, he looks behind to check. What failed me? What tripled me? But a young person is not thinking much. He runs ahead. The truth is, right now, whatever failure, whatever challenge you might be facing in your business is actually a huge learning point for you. Why is that so? Because more likely than not, whatever challenge you're facing now, it might be small now. When the business becomes bigger, you're likely going to face it. If your challenge right now is cash flows, it might get to a point where you need to pull together $100 million and you have the same problem. When you have to put together $100 million and you face the same problem. So the question is, if you're not learning a lot from the challenges of today, how are you ever going to survive when the real big challenges come? Feel me? The next thing I'd like to talk about, partners. There's this old Chinese proverb that I like. The Chinese too are actually one for proverbs. And if you have time, you probably have to check it out on Google and take a lot of learning. But this one, really cool. It says, you know what? If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go in a group. The truth is, there is no business that thrives without a collective. There's no idea that succeeds. There's no institution that is built by one man alone. There's a lot of cliche that you heard is a self-made millionaire. There's nothing like that. Even if you're going to try rituals, you're going to need some herbalists, right? You're going to need partners. So you have to find partners. For some people, their partners are actually their employees. For some people, their partners are the guys who they bring money together to run a business. For some other people, their partners are actually their mentors, their superiors, who give them a lot of advice. Whatever your partners are going to be, find partners. The next one, perhaps, I would say is a lot of patience. I'll take a lot of learning from agriculture. Imagine the farmer who puts 2 grains of maize in the soil. Every other day, he goes to watch the grain just to ensure that it grows. Every other day afterwards, he goes to the stalk just to till it, just to ensure that the stalk is growing. The best quality of the farmer is not a skill. The best skill is actually patience. There's nothing worthwhile that emerges without patience. I know, hey, we're in a world of 2 minutes Indomie. We're in a world where everybody wants it right now. Instant gratification, that is cool. But there's nothing that lasts long without some measure of patience. Hey guys, if you want to build businesses that last, be patient. That money you're looking for, you're going to make it. A lot of it. That reputation you desire, you're going to get it. That legacy you want to build is going to come. But you got to be patient. I hear a lot about Dangote, the richest black man in the world. Aliko Dangote says, you know what? I spent about 30 years building my wealth before I became a millionaire. But you see, guys of today don't want to be billionaires in an instant. It doesn't happen. Even if you're going to be in some fraudulent activity, it's going to take some time to mature. The last thing I'd like to talk about is focus. I talk about focus because young people these days were heavily distracted. It's unfortunate because at times our challenges are much. There's a lot of distractions on the internet. If you see a young man who wants to build a business, before he knows, an exciting picture pops up on Instagram and the guy is looking, hey, ha ha ha. Unfortunately, this takes your mind away from the goal. Remember the farmer. It doesn't lose focus. Every other day, he goes to check those grain. When the grain becomes a young stalk, when it grows up and it starts growing, it doesn't ever lose focus. Guess what? The day a farmer loses the focus, you think the corn or the maize just grows from the field? It doesn't happen. I tried it. I failed big time because I lost focus myself. Never lose focus. Whatever it is you set your mind to do, invest in it. And again, and again. It might not yield today, but life has a way of rewarding diligence. I like this quote from the book Good Books. It says, have you seen a man who is diligent in his ways? He will stand before kings and not mere men. Pay attention to that. It didn't say, have you seen a guy who is skillful? It didn't say, have you seen a guy who is capable? It didn't say, have you seen a guy who is talented? It says, no. Have you seen a guy who is diligent, who is committed, who is dogged, and who says, in spite of the fact of whatever results I get today, I'll keep doing this. I'll do it so well that I become the best at it. I'll do it so well that nobody in the world will be able to say I can do it better than him. Watch out for that guy. He's going to stand before kings. Even life pays attention to that guy. I'll end with this quote. Powerful quote, but I love it. It says, there's no power in the world that is able to stop an idea whose time has come. Invest in your idea. Don't stop, but focus. I mean, there's this cliche we hear, laser focus. The truth is, no matter how strong a barrier is, when the focus is sharp and laser focus, you're going to break through. Whatever your challenge is, whatever it is that you desire, whatever you're facing through in your business right now, don't lose focus. I mean, unless you were not clear in the first place what you want to achieve. If you're clear, keep at it. Ensure that you do it with so much diligence, so much intentionality, so much devotion. Pay attention to the details. Soon or later, you're going to be the best at it. And life is going to pay attention and reward you accordingly. I hope you continue to win, guys.